All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 311 is now live in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us as we have a show that is in live time in line with the NFL draft as it finishes up. That's day 3 commencements, if you will. We are really excited about this one, guys, because we're going to give you guys our thoughts on the draft picks that have been taken and the draft picks that will be taken. So definitely stay in tune with our show, guys. There's a lot of great content out there in the Chiefs community, and we very much appreciate the fact that you guys are here. So while you're going to be here, we tell you at the top, we tell you at the bottom of every single show, we would love it for you guys to be a part of the show. We don't want you guys just to sit here and listen, sit here and watch as Trevor and I's jaws move up and down and we reverberate words. We want you guys to be a part of this as well. So when we tell you guys, go to YouTube, hit the Spoken Podcast there, hit subscribe, notify, share, all those fun buttons. They all help us big time. But the one that we want you to hit the fastest, the most, is the comment button. We want you guys to be in the chat with us as this show is going on each and every week, and in particular on big weeks like this because there's a lot going on. You guys know that we're excited for today's show because we have a draft to get to. And Trevor and I, we made our predictions last week. A lot of you guys have made your predictions as well. We're going to break down what the Chiefs have done so far to this point. What is it telling us that the Chiefs are trying to do moving forward into the 2025 and 2026, 27, and 28 seasons moving forward, how they're going to try to continue to maintain this dynasty that they have built over the last 6+ years. Trevor, how you doing this week, man? How's everything going for you? And you excited to talk about this draft, man?
Definitely been waiting for this week to come. It's been nice being able to sit and watch these young guys' futures get made every year. It's always a fun time to watch. Some people's dreams get crushed, some people's dreams get made. But yeah, man, it's been a blast. I'm very impressed with what Veach has been doing so far, and I know we're going to dive into all that. And I know all of you are anxiously awaiting to see the rest of the picks today, what we do here. So, but I'm good, man. It's been a good week. Got a lot of work in. Got some good lifts in this week, me and you.
Yes, we did.
So it's been a positive and progressive week for sure, man. So I'm ready to go.
I don't know if you guys noticed, and this has something to do with Trev help training me physically, but I lost 20 pounds this last Wednesday. I don't know if
Let's
you
go,
see
baby.
it, but I lost it in my face. There's about 20 pounds of hair that I lost. So definitely that was a big change that I needed. It was time to do it. So if you guys are wondering who the hell's hosting this show and you were trying to figure out what happened to me,
cut that dead animal, dead animal off your face.
Yeah, the raccoon is gone. It's no longer here, but most of my baby face is still here. I don't shave it because if I do, you guys would have to card me just to do this show, and I don't want that to happen. So let's get right to the business, Trevor. I think we're ready for it, man. It is time, without further ado, for Lance Rants. So, the way I saw this draft coming in was I wanted to see the Chiefs get immediate impact players. And obviously, that when you're drafting guys, you want guys that are going to be here for years to come. And the biggest reason why I was saying that defensive linemen and defensive players as a whole needed to be the focus in this draft is to, in some ways, in some forms and fashion, recreate what they did in 2022. We all know that's the famous draft now in the Veach era, where the Chiefs got those picks from the Tyreek Hill trade, and they went heavy on defense and basically just completely recreated their defense and capitalized on that, found some starters day one, and because of that, the Chiefs were able to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. It is because of that draft, obviously because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid being the biggest reasons, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, all that. but because they found immediate impact players across the board and throughout that draft, they were able to maintain cheap players and win at a high level. That does not happen very often in this league. And Brett Veach absolutely cooked in that draft, and I wanted to see him recreate that because we know there are several names that are going to be coming off this roster within a year's time. We know that there's going to be guys that are on one-year deals this year that probably more likely will not be back in 2026. So getting immediate impact players now adds to the competition of what those guys are doing now. And if those guys get beat out, then you know that they got beat out because the guys that were brought in through the draft are just simply the better player. And that's a great problem to have. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just want to get right into it. So my Lance rants and the reactions kind of coincide. So just bear with me here, guys. But I'm going to be honest with you. When Trevor and I were watching the draft together, and we saw the draft honestly falling in the way that I was expecting it to. Now, obviously, there were some guys that got taken earlier that I really loved, like Walter Nolan and James Pierce. Those are a couple guys I really was hoping that they would fall to the Chiefs because I think that those are guys that would be immediate impact players. But obviously, they were taken early because these guys are just absolute studs, and it makes total sense for them to go when they went. But I was still convinced and of the belief, especially when I saw and heard that the Chiefs were trading back one spot and adding that fifth round pick, which was genius by Brett Veach, with the Philadelphia Eagles. I was certain at that point, when I saw that the pick was in, the Eagles got a linebacker. Okay, the Chiefs are going to get the best defensive lineman available in this draft right here, right now. And then we got the news that Josh Simmons was the ultimate pick. The ultimate pick. Ohio State's offensive tackle, Josh Simmons. Mm-hmm. Now, my first initial thought on this pick was the Chiefs got a 2026 player with their first pick in the 2025 draft. What do I mean by that? Because it caused, of course, and I swear to you guys, I don't try to do it, but it caused a frenzy on Twitter. It caused a frenzy on Facebook to the point where I even had to block a couple people on our Facebook group because people were getting so absolutely nasty about it. Because the biggest response I was getting, and I want to address it directly before we really break down the Josh Simmons pick, was what I stated that they got a player for the future in their first pick and how I'm trusting Veach on this one to make the most sense. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I was wanting to see the Chiefs get a guy in round one that was going to be a guy that's going to be playing day one, or at least going to be working his way into the equation in his first season. That's not the situation with Josh Simmons. And people are so confused by it when I say that, and I'm confused by the confusion. Because I don't know if you guys missed, this last offseason, but the Chiefs literally signed Jalen Moore to be their starting left tackle. And they gave him a multi-year deal worth over $20 million. And Juwan Taylor on the right side of things is making almost $20 million this year as well. He's not going anywhere. In other words, Josh Simmons as a tackle is a non-factor in the 2025 season, barring injury. And speaking of injuries, we know that that's something he's had to deal with, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I always give you guys a fair shake. I always give the audience, I always give people out there a fair shake and try to get your guys' opinion on this before I just go out here and start laying out all mine just for you guys to hear what I have to say. If we can put up the poll up there, Trevor, real quick. This was what I immediately tweeted out after the pick was given. I asked your guys' reactions to the Chiefs drafting offensive tackle Josh Simmons with their first-round pick. Almost 1,000 votes, and 60% said they loved it. And I'll be honest with you, I understand why you guys loved it. Because one, a lot of people, no matter who the Chiefs take, you're going to support it. You're going to say, oh, this is the right pick. And there's just people like that. And that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and criticize people for backing their team up, whatever pick they take, wherever they take these players. But I also think it's because people know what I know and what Trevor knows, what most Chiefs fans know. The left tackle position has been an absolute need for the Chiefs since they let Orlando Brown Jr. walk. And you all know I've been pounding the table for years for the Chiefs to go left tackle in the first round. I just didn't think that left tackle was in this draft. But see, the Chiefs clearly feel differently about that. But see, the concerns I have are, for one, very few awesome left tackles fall to the end of the first. I'm not saying that Simmons can or won't be the exception, but that's a lot to ask for a young man, let alone one that's had alleged maturity issues as well. We're hearing that not only has he had physical problems, which we obviously know about, but also this guy's had some, issues with, becoming a man, if we will. And that's something the Chiefs are going to demand out of a guy that is representing their entire draft class. The first guy is the first impression, and he's going to be playing a very important position one day. Yes, Josh Simmons would have gone much earlier. I've heard 97 times, Trevor, and from people's responses.
If he wasn't banged up.
If he didn't suffer that horrific injury to his knee as a 300-pound man, he would have been a top 10 pick. Yes, you are 100% correct, guys. Josh Simmons is a top 10 talent.
Yep.
He is a freak of nature. But he did suffer that very serious injury. That cannot be ignored. We can't pretend that this is something that he's just going to walk off. This is not, and I know this sounds nuts now, or it would have sounded nuts 15, 20 years ago, but this isn't an ACL tear where guys in 8-9 months are right back to normal because we have the technology now to make that just basically even better sometimes. This is the patellar tendon. Full disclosure, because I work in the medical field, I see these injuries all the time. This is a very traumatic injury. This is very serious. Some people never really fully recover from this, let alone dudes that are 6'5" plus, 300 plus pounds that are asked to move their bodies in a very quick motion. Yes, the Chiefs feel confident he's going to be healthy, and I feel confident because the Chiefs feel confident, and they have the best staff in the entire NFL when it comes to recovery, when it comes to health, when it comes to all those things. They have the best. So anywhere for Josh Simmons to land, an ideal place, it is in Kansas City for more reasons than one. But we can't, because even Brett Veach said himself, the optimism they're having, it's a best case scenario they're basing this off of. Basically meaning they're hoping for the best. And again, this guy was one pick away from falling out of the first round. That should tell you something about where he's at. If other teams felt that this guy was still that top 10 pick, he wouldn't have fell to 31 where the Chiefs then traded out and got him at 32. Especially with as scarce as the tackle position is in this draft. If he was still that guy, my concern is everybody else let him fall to the Chiefs. Everyone's saying, oh, well, of course the Chiefs got him. The Chiefs he literally fell to the lap twice. They were at 31 and then at 32. So that's my concern. And I think everybody should have this concern as well. What also can't be ignored is the fact the Chiefs are actively, again, paying 2 tackles. So I am more than okay with this pick if, and this is a major if Simmons becomes a star in 2026 because he's not going to play in 2025 unless there is an injury to one of their tackles. And again, I said star on purpose because the Chiefs don't take a first-round left tackle unless they're expected to be a star. I in my mock draft, I had the Chiefs taking a tackle at 95 overall. If that guy ended up becoming something and was just a solid guy, I could live with that. But if you're taking a dude who is a top 10 talent in the first round, that man is not expected to be an average tackle. He's not expected to be Orlando Brown Jr. He's not expected to be one of those average middle-tier dudes. He's expected to be one of the best at his position. And that is not what I am expecting out of Josh Simmons the day that he becomes the left tackle of this team. Or the logic behind it, because I want to break this down real quick. I'm going to get Trevor's thoughts on this. The logic behind, because I want to give the Chiefs some credit here on this pick. The logic behind the Chiefs drafting Simmons is sound, primarily due to the lack of belief that I do have in Jalen Moore right now, and I think that's fair. A former 5th-round pick, has only played a handful of games in his career. We don't really know what Jalen Moore is to this point.
He's not making crazy money, but good enough.
Yeah. But what if Jalen Moore is the guy? What if Jalen Moore is a very good left tackle? Let's just say, Trevor, on the opposite end of this, Jalen Moore comes out and is, oh my God, the Chiefs found themselves a diamond in the rough. This dude's still young. They might want to keep him for more years. They moved Simmons to right tackle then when Juwan Taylor's off his contract. I mean, that's an ideal situation. Or vice versa. I mean, this is where I'm trying to give the Chiefs some credit because they hedged their bets here. Mm-hmm. And if they stick the landing on 2 of these guys and Juwan Taylor's gone in 2026, which he will be, their tackle position is secured.
Yeah, I mean,
with
I
two young
think
dudes.
that's kind of what they're going for.
And you might be right.
Yeah.
My point though is this is the scenario that has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons has got to be a star. Jalen Moore better stick the landing, and that way this makes all the sense in the world. Because if it doesn't, the Chiefs are back at ground zero, man.
Yeah.
And they're trying to recreate now. Luckily, these next couple drafts look like they have some promises at tackle, but the Chiefs are now starting to heavily invest in tackle. We need to start seeing some of these things pay dividends. So these are my concerns. I am more than open-minded and I am more than okay with this pick. But like I said, I have my concerns and I have my demands, man, because the Chiefs are telling me this is a guy. Yeah. This is a dude. This is a stud. Okay? But I'm not expecting to see him anytime soon, man, because they've already invested at the positions that he would play at. So I'm waiting for 2026 to see what Josh Simmons is. What are your thoughts on this pick so far, Trevor?
Well, I mean, it is tough for me and us that are more analytical about these draft picks, not just, mindlessly just absorbing and agreeing to whatever the Chiefs do in the draft. This is a long, using your first round pick for like a long game pick.
Yeah.
A potential long game pick, because we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of mystery behind what his body is, how his body is going to react not only to the speed of the NFL, but just his body in general, health wise. So I'm a little uncomfortable with this pick. I didn't want to go offensive tackle that early. Although I will say we have drafted not in the exact order, but only if you rotate the first two picks in the exact order that I predicted the Chiefs to go position-wise. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good for me as far as where I was wanting us to go. I didn't want to go tackle there, but at the same time, man, like I do have an unwavering trust in Veach, especially in the tackles and guards. This guy knows how to draft offensive linemen. It's been a tough road the last couple of seasons as far as what we've gotten out of some of these guys, but more times than not, we've had a lot of great players come from Veach's selections and analysis of these offensive linemen. So I think this is like you said, he's a top 10 talent. We just don't know, we're probably not even going to see him this year, which is tough to digest. Taking a guy in the first round, you're probably not going to see. He's not going to be a day one guy. I hate that. Usually when you take those guys, those are the guys you want to see getting all the camp hype, becoming that next guy, especially a guy that's not only the biggest need on the team, but also a highly touted name in the draft, but is also dealing with some significant injury. So I'm pretty torn on how I feel about it. I'm still kind of, stewing over it a little bit. Initially, I didn't like it. I didn't want to go off at tackle first. I really wanted to get the best edge or best defensive lineman available at the time, in which there was some dogs still available. But I mean, I've liked the way we've handled the rest of the draft, so that's what's kind of like made me feel better about it. But if we went this route and then I didn't like the next two picks also, I'd be pretty bummed right now. Right. But I've loved the picks that followed this one. But at the same time, man, listen, like he is very good. He's a very good offensive tackle. Can play both sides of the line. I love that versatility, and he comes from a great program. Ohio State, so like I think this is a good pick, and I think optimistically, me being the optimist that I am, I think it's going to possibly be a great pick in the long run. It just sucks that we're not going to really be able to kind of like taste the sweet nectar of his talents, right? ASAP, and that sucks as a Chiefs fan, especially taking him as high as we did. But then again, like you said, you can look at it from the other way too, He shouldn't have been there where we got him. Only reason he was there is because he's hurt. How hurt is he, and is he going to even have a chance to even be on the field this year? A lot of mystery there. So that makes me a little uncomfortable, especially at a significant position there where we took him, our biggest need on this roster.
Right.
But I do love the idea of us, double dipping, man, with, going and getting a guy in free agency and going and drafting a guy in the first round that would have been, if he wasn't hurt, out of our reach. So we love value over here. Obviously, Brett Veach and Andy Reid, they've taken a lot of chances on a lot of guys who had maybe off-field issues or significant injuries, a la Trey Smith, guys that have really, really worked out, are on Hall of Fame paths.
Right.
Guys like Trey Smith who could become a Hall of Famer someday if he continues to play the way he is at that position, which is extremely tough to do. But, guys that have contributed to winning several championships in this city, So, I mean, who am I really, man, to sit and doubt that the Chiefs haven't done their due diligence on this kid to take him where they took him? So I'm going to trust that they did their due diligence and know more about his longevity and the significance of his injury and where he can be really soon. Maybe see the field this season, possibly. I don't know. But I have watched the tape on the kid, and he's incredible. I will say that. I mean, when he's healthy, when he was out there, that kid was shutting dudes down. So as a guy, I really am excited to see as far as what the film shows. But again, there's two sides of this coin. I am nervous about it, very nervous about it, but I've loved the way that we've handled the draft so far afterwards as well, which has made me feel a little bit better about it, and I'm sure we'll touch on that soon.
Yeah, after the first pick, I got excited, and I always get excited after the first round. Not because of the
That's where it gets fun.
Because I'm worried about the Chiefs' picks per se in the first round, but it's because of the fact that, let's be real, man. Since Brett Veach has been here, I think the earliest the Chiefs have drafted in the first round is 29th.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about a team that never really gets the chance to go and get one of the 10, 15 best players in the draft unless some miraculous situation happens where they fall.
Yeah.
But I get excited after the first round because, man, let's be real. Brett Veach is absolutely cooked in the 2nd through 7th rounds in his career. I mean, we can go down the list. We did last week about how many times we've seen the Chiefs do amazing work. And I think they may have done it again. And I know we're only 4 picks in, but Trev, I think they're already creating magic. You and I briefly discussed it this morning, but let's start right there, man, with the second pick the Chiefs had at number 6.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
No, go ahead.
I just want to just live action stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of just tell you that, give you an idea what's going on in the draft right now at the moment. Obviously, we're early round 4. Running backs are starting to go off the shelves now. The Jaguars selected 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾𝙳𝙴, and then the Giants right after them selected another running back, 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙶.
It's kind of from Arizona State.
So 2 good running backs. Hopefully, so I know me and you and a lot of people on this show want to get Devin Neal from KU. Some people don't, but this might be the round to have to pull the trigger.
I think that it has to be.
So
It has to be.
and this is honestly, if we do, that's my next pick on my draft pick selections too. So RB would be the next. Devin Neal would be incredible. So I just wanted to.
No, interrupt me as many
running
times
backs
you
are
need to,
going
man.
right now. So.
Yeah. That's we have to keep this live. So we know the live audience is probably doing the same thing. So if you guys see anything or hear anything before even we do, drop it in the chat, man, and let us know. We'll credit you guys with the information. But I definitely agree with you on that, Trevor. I think the 4th round is where the Chiefs are gonna have to start because they're gonna start dropping now. We know that's how it usually goes. When there's a position of depth in the draft and you start to see a trend, you better jump on it because before you get a chance, those guys are going to be
that
gone.
pool is going to be shallow.
And, both those guys, by the way, 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾 and who you said the other player was.
210?
Thank you.
210? Yeah.
That kid, both those guys are studs. And this is a draft class that has a lot of good running backs. So I am a little surprised the Chiefs haven't gone running back yet. But it's also at the same time,
this would be the round to do it
because they know that there's, like you said, a plethora of guys, and they knew they were getting the 4th round pick in that trade, and they already had a 4th round pick before. Maybe that was their plan all along. And yes, I definitely think that Devin Neal needs to be on there. I think Dylan Sampson's still available from Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a couple guys that I think the Chiefs are, and I know they've met with was it Damian Martinez from Miami? I think he's still on the board. There's a couple. There's a few guys that I can see the Chiefs taking right here, right now, today, and we're going to stay in tune with that. But we want to give you guys our reactions, our immediate reactions to what's happened so far in this draft. We just covered the Josh Simmons side of things at pick 32. I want to go to pick 63 as the Chiefs take the defensive tackle out of Tennessee, man by the name of Norman Lotz. They list him on NFL.com as 6'2", 291 pounds. Not the biggest guy by any means when it comes, because we know here in Kansas City, defensive tackles usually are big, maulers. Chris Jones 6'6", 310
Still
pounds.
a young man though too.
Yeah, it's
Still
true.
growing into his man body.
Lance Zierlein, a guy that I trust vehemently, mostly because of his name, but because he's also on NFL.com, had a nice little overview analysis on the 23-year-old, and this is what he said. If we can put that on the screen too, Trevor, real quick. This is the overview on Norman Lotz. So Norman Lott is an undersized interior defender who will need to specialize in penetration, giggity, and havoc creation in a one-gapping scheme. He has plus snap quickness and is talented at reading and beating move blocks. He's a rangy run defender with a full tank of gas, but will struggle against downhill rushing attacks aimed at him. Norman Lott is an energetic pass rusher with a high pressure rate. He plays with harmonious hands and feet that work to and around edges, and he won't offer as much of a power rusher. His lack of size could hurt his draft slotting Obviously not. But he has the potential to become a rotational defender and sub-package rusher. In other words, Lance Zierlein is expecting Norman Lott to become a third down pass rusher. One of those kind of guys that on obvious passing plays is going to be that guy that's going to be playing next to Chris Jones.
Got a motor, bro.
The biggest reason I love this pick is the potential value alone. We're talking about finding an immediate difference maker, and this is what I've been hammering home. Finding an immediate difference maker in the second round who is also a little older, which means he's more mentally and emotionally ready and mature for what the Chiefs and the NFL as a whole is going to demand of him. We know that there's going to be a lot of pressure on this guy because he's an early pick, going to a dynasty, going to a team that's still trying to win Super Bowls. He knows that day one he's going to be expected to play a role.
Yeah.
But because of the fact he's 23 already, he's played a lot of football. He's been a guy that's also had to work his way up because he's played a lot of backup as well. Mm-hmm. This is a dude that I think knows I'm going to have to come in here day one and make an immediate impression. The pressure's on me, and I'm going to have to go out here and do my thing. And I'm excited, genuinely excited about this pick. Is Norman Lott the most talented guy in this draft when it comes to defensive line? No. In fact, I didn't even have him in my top 6, 7. But this is a guy that I understand why Veach took him. He's versatile. He's fast. He's a good run defender. He's got his weaknesses, sure. But that's the thing about it is now you're replacing these veterans like Derek Nottie and Turk Wharton with a guy who's much younger and much cheaper. And that's what you want to do every single year if you can at positions. Like I said, being under 6'3" and less than 300 pounds, he's not the biggest guy, but there's something about Spags and the way that he's able to utilize guys of different body builds that gets me excited about this type of pairing. And the thing that can't be ignored is what Zierlein talked about with his success at win rate.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if you heard about this, but he had an 18.9% pass rush win rate in 2024. That was the number one amongst all defensive tackles.
You know who else graded out like that, highly like that, was George Karlaftis. So you pair a guy like that, and also too on top of that, like losing guys like Turk Wharton, guys that had really good gap discipline,
gel guys.
From watching Omar's tape, just from the little bit I have, he has really good gap discipline. He knows how to play his gaps really well, be in the right place at the right time, and his motor is relentless. That's the main thing. That's reminding me a lot of, like, I know they're different positions technically, kind of, but George Karlaftis had a lot of that when I was watching his tape when he first got drafted. Just the relentlessness of his motor, just has no quit until that whistle's blown. That guy's always moving towards the ball. So that's what I saw at him, and that's the kind of guys I want on this team that just don't stop, don't give up on plays, are always finding ways to get to the quarterback or the ball.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to say this right now, and I know this might sound like a downer. I'm not expecting Norman Lott to ever become a star player in this league. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting him to be one of those guys that you want on your team for 8 years that's going to be a gel guy, a guy that you know every single freaking week is going to be there. He's going to play his role. He's consistent as hell. This is what I've been talking about.
The Turk Whartons, the Colin Saunders, the guys like that.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I think he
Derek
actually be better than those guys, but you're right. That is exactly what the Chiefs are looking for here, is another guy that can play his role at a decently high level. And I told you guys, this draft, in my opinion, is obviously you want to get, stars if you can. But if you can get guys that are meat and potatoes dudes, that play their role, that are reliable, that stay healthy, that are mature, that have their shit together, that is ideal for your defense. That is ideal. Guys that play in unison. Guys aren't looking for the me brands, aren't looking for all the glitz and glam. These are dudes that want to go in here and play real football, all about ball. That's what I want to see, is guys that are all about ball, and that is exactly what Norman is all about. Norman Lott is all about, and I'm very excited about this pick. I like I said, I'm not expecting to become Warren Sapp by any means. I'm not expecting him to become one of the greats. Yeah. I'm expecting him, though, to be a guy that's going to come in here day one and win a position and play a role in third downs, go after the quarterback, be very disruptive, make life a living hell for that opposing quarterback. That's all I could ask from this pick, and I think that's what we're going to be getting from Mr. Omar. Where I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction, though, is where the Chiefs went on their very next pick. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Louisville's defensive end, Ashton Гэлott is how you say his name. He was on my big board. I was talking to you guys last week about getting edge rush, and I wanted that with a second pick. This was one of the guys that I was talking about. 6'3", 264-pound mauler that I believe can and will be the best edge rusher on this team for years to come.
Oof.
I'm being dead serious when I say that. He and Karlaftis on each side of this line is a dream scenario for me.
He can play both sides.
And the
both
best
ends.
part about this is, from a now standpoint, is that the Chiefs have real depth at edge with veterans also like Charles Omenihu and Mike Dana there as well. So you have the young guys like Karlaftis, who's not even 24 years old yet, and now Ashton Gallot, who's 21 years old.
Yeah.
Mixed in with these other veteran players that have already helped win Super Bowls here in Kansas City. This is my favorite pick of the Chiefs draft so far. Because I believe of all the players taken so far by Veach, Gallot will be the one that makes the biggest immediate impact. This is from Lance Zierlein, again, on NFL.com, and how much he likes the kid. Let's go ahead, if we can put that on the screen as well. So the overview on him is he's productive and experienced. Gallot shines with his ability to threaten the pocket. His rush isn't overly complicated, but he can collapse the pocket with power, beat up the edge with violent hands, and sneak past guards with slap quickness when playing inside. That's the key I want to talk about in a second. He's powerful, but doesn't have a solid anchor to hold his ground as a run defender. I've graded Gallot as a 4-3 defensive end, and he has the athletic build to stand and play 3-4 outside linebacker. So this is why I'm so excited about this. This is a perfect Spags defensive player. A guy that has that versatility, that can go outside, play inside, has the body for both, and basically do whatever you need him to do. Now, he's not the best rush defender, but I do believe that can be taught. I do believe that's something you can coach. That's not something that you can't avoid, or you got to make do.
It's kind of a natural.
Yes, he's a natural freak athlete. This is a guy that I think more than anything is going to come in here and at worst be a dude that's going to be a disruptor on the outside, and that is exactly what the Chiefs have been needing for years.
He's a great bull rush.
Yes, and that's the beautiful thing about it too, Trevor, is that Karlaftis already has that down.
Mm-hmm.
You get two different guys like that with Chris Jones in the middle and these sprinkled veterans and Norman Lott, guys like that mixed into this situation. All of a sudden, you have a nasty front seven, nastier than it's been for years, and it's already been really good.
The way he plays on his tape, my comp was Max Crosby. That's who he reminds me. I'm not saying that's who he's going to be, but the way he plays and his movements and the kind of what his style is, remind me a lot of Max Crosby coming into the league.
I want to find that comparison, because I saw Lance Zierlein had a legitimate comparison with somebody else that I should have wrote that down beforehand, but his comparisons was rather exciting.
Even like his build and the way his like arm length and everything, it's very similar to Max Crosby as far as how their stature is. But yeah, man, this could be the best pick in this draft. I mean, without question, especially adding to what we have on our defensive line at the moment too, with Chris Jones and Karlaftis. You can get another guy on the other edge, and we were definitely missing that because we tried, putting guys like Omenihu on the other end too, and it just wasn't. I prefer Charles in the middle typically, so having him in the middle with Chris Jones, I remember we put Chris Jones on the edge a lot too, trying to find that extra other edge rusher to kind of pair with George. But this guy could be the perfect missing piece for, getting pressure consistently on both sides or overloading one side with both of them on one end. This kid definitely is a Spags guy for sure. He's got long arms, has a really quick get off on the defensive line, man. That's the thing that was remind me of George or of Max Crosby, was just his quick get off and his ability to beat guys really, really quickly and just be hyper aggressive. So
yeah, and this is from Bleacher Report. Their little mock-up on Gallot. With a teach tape material bull rush, using good pad level, tight hands, and keeping his feet moving through contact, Gallot has shown the ability to collapse a pocket against offensive tackles and guards in college. That gives him some position versatility on third downs and at the next level. The Cardinal has also shown a good counter move off his bull rush by selling the bull and working through the edge with a rip move and keep offensive tackles honest. Additionally, he has solid long arm and has flashed the ability to win with an arm over move. So, yeah, guys, I highly recommend you guys go watch some tape on Ashton, and I'm going to start calling him the Cardinal, by the way. I think that's a really good nickname.
That is a cool nickname.
So I'm going to start calling him the Cardinal. That is something that I think that is going to make immediate impact. And this is again, guys, this is where Brett Veach starts to shine. When he starts finding these mid-round gems, gets guys that you may have fallen a little bit further, or wasn't as recognized because they weren't the top names of the sorts of their positions, and they come into this defense and shine bright. I I don't want to have Galat steal all the shine here because I think the Chiefs are having a good draft overall. But again, when I'm talking about a guy that when I envision comes in here in 2025 and makes an immediate impact, and then for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years is a guy that keeps doing that, Galat is that guy. He's that guy for me, and I'm going to stay true to that. And I think that you guys should be very excited for this pick because I think this could potentially be the best pick of Brett Veach's draft this year. But let's be real. There's also some real competition, Trevor, because I think they found themselves another day one contributor in this draft as well. And it felt, and it didn't really even have to fault him because the Chiefs wanted him so badly. They traded up 10 spots to get him with the Patriots. Let's go ahead and put up that trade if you can, Trevor, what the Chiefs and Patriots did. I think it's on there.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys look right here, so this is according to Spot Rack. NFL trade, Chiefs acquire 2025 third round, number 85 overall. The Patriots acquire 2025 third round, 95th, and a 2020 fourth round. I believe 2026 fourth round. I believe that's the fourth round pick they got for Joe Thuney, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
I think that might be that pick that they got. So that pick was ultimately used, like we all expected, for a trade. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that's the pick.
typically when the Chiefs move up 10 spots,
Yeah, it usually means something. So this is a very exciting pick for me because I know when the Chiefs draft a corner, that corner is probably going to be really good because Brett Veach is really good at drafting corners.
Shit, when we acquire corners, period. Yeah.
Y'all know I told you the Chiefs were going cornerbacks in the middle of this draft. I told everybody, I was like, I know they're going to go corner. They're going to keep evaluating that pick. They're going to keep that position because we know that this team loves drafting corners. And then Veach came out last week and confirmed my prediction by praising this quarterback class and how they were going to be some real value of that position in the middle rounds. Well, let's be real. Veach called his shot, and now the Chiefs have them a young stud cornerback added to an already very good DB room. And we could, Joe, this is via KCSN. This is the write-up of Noah Williams.
Yep.
He's 6 foot, 199 pounds, out of California. His 2024 stats: 52 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 7. You read that correct? 7 interceptions
And a pick six.
9 passes broken up. His background: Williams is a 5-year college player, spending 3 years in Vegas at UNLV and 2 years at Cal. After entering the transfer portal, Williams played high school in Pacific High in Oxford, California, and signed with UNLV as a 3-star prospect. He was most impactful during his final collegiate season, grabbing 7 interceptions and achieving consensus All-American status, as well as being named first-team All-ACC. His strengths: Williams was instantly productive on the ball. He totaled 25 pass breakups and 14 interceptions in his collegiate career. 7 of those picks came as a senior at Cal, like Trev said, including a pick 6. He also forced 3 fumbles and received another 4, returning 2 of those for touchdowns. Yeah. Williams is what we call a playmaker. He also possesses prototypical size at 6 foot and 199 pounds. Williams is a strong physical cornerback. He is constantly in the right place at the right time. It has happened too many times to be a coincidence or to be coincidental. At this point, the instincts, Williams is a sticky cornerback who doesn't allow major separation, even from smaller receivers. He has quality reps on tape in both man and run coverage concepts. And I want to skip down real quick because weaknesses, that's something I'm not trying to ignore, but that's stuff that we can always address later on because we can see that as the time goes on. I just want to get you guys excited about this pick because look at the player comp on the bottom. Stephon Gilmore, one of the greatest corners to ever live. Team fit, high. Now listen, KCSN, they're one of the best at this. They do very, very good work at draft profiling, at addressing guys. I'll give my guy Kent Swanson all the credit in the world for addressing L'Jarius Sneed before anyone else did. And he was right. He nailed it. So credit to those guys, credit for what they do. They do hard work over there. And I will say right now, they got me excited as hell about this pick. In fact, I was very tempted to make this my number 1 pick of this draft class. I just evaluate edge rush a little bit more because we know that cornerbacks can be replaced a little bit easier. Finding a stud edge rusher is something you just cannot replace. But that doesn't mean, guys, that this isn't a pick that you should get a chubby over. Because I'm telling you right now, I got half of one just on this one alone. And I'm telling you all right now, this is a kid that I think can steal a grown man's job, as Isaiah Pacheco once put it. I think this is a dude that can start day one. He's got the size, he's got the capabilities, he's got the instincts, and that is everything of being a great corner in this league.
Well, and he's got the investment from us.
Exactly.
Moving up 10 spots to get the
10
kid.
spots. And look, I want to stay as focused on this kid as I possibly can, but I can't help ignore, Trevor, the fact that the Chiefs are doing things they're doing at cornerback this offseason.
Yeah.
They finally spent real money on a veteran cornerback.
Yeah.
In Christian Fulton.
There's some breadcrumbs.
And they took a top 85 pick on a corner. They didn't just take him. They, like you said, traded up 8 or 10 spots, gave up multiple picks to get this kid in particular. They wanted this dude. They needed this dude.
Yeah.
Now, I know everyone's telling me, well, this is to replace Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. They're both coming off their rookie deals.
I mean, which corner is it? I mean,
well, does anyone remember?
We brought in several corners already.
Okay, but does anyone remember when where the Chiefs drafted Watson and Williams in the 2022 draft? This 4th and 7th rounds.
Yeah, and we didn't move up to go get them.
Which means Veach is more than capable enough to replace them with cheaper contracts and or later picks than a $20 million deal and a top 85 pick. And yes, this is what also people are telling me, Trevor. Well, McDuffie now is playing in the slot, so these guys have nothing to do with him. Okay, give me a rough estimation of what you believe McDuffie's extension is going to look like, dollar amount, and tell me that paying an exclusive slot corner that amount makes sense, especially when Veach continues to draft DBs better than anyone. I'm just asking anybody right now. Now that the Chiefs have gotten 2 chips at the cornerback position this offseason alone, when they already had a really good cornerback room. Now they've gotten 2 of these dudes. Tell me what you think is a realistic number for Trent McDuffie. Please, I really want to know. Like, Trevor, do you have one? Not to put you on the spot, but what do you think right now a Trent McDuffie contract looks like?
I mean, it would be a lot.
Do you think
it'd probably be more than I'd be willing to pay him, to be honest?
Do you think a team doing what the Chiefs are doing right now are going to pay him?
No, man. These moves are definitely telling. I mean, I'm not going to. It makes all the sense. The only time I really disagree with you on moving on from Trent was when you were trying to trade him for DK. That was the only time I was.
Ancient history.
This is yeah. Let's forget about that one. The way that we are moving and the way we've always moved at the cornerback position. It's definitely looking like you're going to be correct on this one for sure, because especially if this kid pans out to be an absolute stud again, we nail it again, and we moved up 10 spots to get this kid, not a few spots like we did to go get Trent even. I mean, this is it's starting to add up pretty quick on what we're looking like and how we continue to do what we've always done.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanted to kind of deny it, especially after paying Nick Bolton and other guys like that, and we're probably going to pay George Karlaftis at this point. It's looking like that. Over Trent, you can't pay everybody, man, and cornerback is I was kind of trying to deny it a little bit, but this could be Trent's final season as Chief.
Well, and just make this more of a clearer picture for everybody, okay?
Julia Gulu says Lance might get his wish and see Trent McDuffie traded out of this season.
It's not my wish. This is not what I hope happens, guys. I'm trying to make this as clear as I can.
It's just honesty, man.
I love Trent. Trust me, I love that dude. I didn't think the Chiefs were going to draft him. When I found out they did, I was stoked as hell because I knew how great he was.
Yeah.
I watched Washington
and we
games.
stole him from the Bills.
Yes, I watched a lot of Husky games. That dude has always been great. What I'm saying though is we know we have to change our mentality as fans when it comes to watching the way this team builds, because this isn't our we were kids Chiefs. This isn't even the John Dorsey Chiefs, guys. They operated at a different function now because they're trying to maintain a Super Bowl winning operation, and you can't pay everybody like that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be in cap hell and be the Saints, that's I guess you could do that. But
especially corners too, man. Let's be honest. Like over history, very few corners when they've gotten paid have really panned out to be worthy of the money. Even the greats, like look at Jalen Ramsey. I love Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, but
he's one of the best of his generation. But what has he really done that's like, oh, that's why they paid him?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there hasn't really been
maybe the last franchise that built their defense around a high-paid corner that won the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't build. I mean, there's a few exceptions over the years.
And those are probably Hall of Fame,
I mean,
best of all time.
Darrelle Revis guys,
Deion
like that.
Sanders. Like we're talking about the greatest of the greats. And even Darrelle Revis never won a Super Bowl.
But yeah,
you know
true.
I mean?
And even the way the game is changing too, becoming more of an offensive, game. You kind of want to invest, getting after the opposing offenses at the defensive line type of thing. That's why edge rushers are becoming far more, the best, highest paid players on the defense, and then protecting your quarterback. So I mean, yeah.
Well, and like I said, I want to make this as clear and precise as possible to make sure everybody understands what I'm saying here about the whole slot corner argument. Do you remember when the Chiefs traded Alex Smith? Remember that, how that was like the big trade, and the Chiefs got, oh my God, they got a pick out of it and everything like that. You remember the throw-in that was also there? It was Kendall Fuller, who was a slot corner.
Yeah,
he was a throw-in, and he was an immediate starter and played pretty freaking well for the Chiefs. Solid player, man. Yeah. Right? What I'm saying is, throw-ins can play that well for teams like the Chiefs. You don't think the Chiefs are going to continue to go that route because you don't have to pay slot corners.
Well, when you're coming into the best defensive coordinator of all time scheme,
I'm just saying,
it helps
man,
a lot. The
incentive is not there to pay a corner at a high level.
Yeah.
And so when I'm looking at the tea leaves here and I'm seeing the way the Chiefs are utilizing the draft and free agency at that particular position, I can't help but look here and feel more invigorated about my stance on this.
And I mean, I preach it all the time. Stop worshiping the name on the jersey.
Yeah.
You want the team success.
And on the flip side, Trevor,
especially in football.
On the flip side, let's say they didn't pay Nick Bolton. Let's say that the Chiefs didn't go get Christian Fulton. Let's say they didn't just trade up 10 spots to get this kid. I'd be like, man, it looks like they're about to pay Trent some serious money.
Yeah, like I said, the breadcrumbs are starting to add up, man.
Bro, I would change my stance because you know why? I'd be an ignorant fool to say otherwise at that point. But when you start to math everything and it's all adding up to something, it's like, guys, and we even had Tasia Dash on the show a couple weeks ago. He said the same thing. He's like, yeah, it's starting to look that way. I'm not saying I want to see it happen. I'm kind of low-key hoping that McDuffie's here for a couple more years.
Yeah.
But I know that's going to be a price tag.
We do have...
But if they tag him after this next year, that's going to be $22 million. Like, are
tag
you
and
really
trade is probably likely what's going to happen.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Unfortunately. God, man.
But think about this, though.
Yeah.
You get 5 years out of a first-round pick like that, and you get
several rings.
2 to 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, is that not the ideal situation? And you never had to pay him big money.
Yeah.
You got his prime years. Because
he's going to be the hottest free agent out there.
Well, yeah, but think about it. At best, the next team that gets McDuffie's getting probably 3 to 4 really good years of him. At best,
elite years.
The Chiefs got 5. Like, you win. You got him in the first round. You got 5 years out of him. You won Super Bowls with him, and now he goes and makes his big money elsewhere. And they're not getting the best version of him.
Yeah.
You're getting the max best because quarterback prime years are 22 to 27.
Yeah.
That's their prime years. After that, their bodies and their hips, everything starts to slow down. You see it with everybody. So McDuffie's not special.
I will say, granted, slot corners tend to have a little longer of a peak.
Yeah, but you're not paying them $100 million.
Right. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I bet McDuffie probably plays on the outside wherever he goes because they're going to be paying him an insane amount of money. They're like, we need you on the outside, brother. We're paying you $26 million a year.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, like, as he ages, he could probably play more slot.
Sure. Or safety, like a nickel safety
hybrid
stuff.
Type role. Yeah, for sure.
So Noah Williams, I love this pick. I was big on corner in this draft. Yeah. It was a little bit earlier when I had the Chiefs. I had the Chiefs getting a corner at 112. They got him at 85. I'm more than happy with this pick. I think this is an A pick for sure. From everything I'm hearing from everyone,
I think
this is a slam dunk pick. I love it. I love the aggressiveness from Brett Veach. I love the fact that Chiefs have already traded back and traded forward in this draft. That shows me that Brett Veach is going after the guys he likes or knows that he's going after guys that he knows can be real fits in this offense and defense. And I also love the fact that 3 of their first 4 picks are on the defensive side. I love that. But I'm with Trevor on this. The next pick for the Chiefs needs to be a running back, in my opinion. I think that's where they have to hit. I think they need to go and get themselves a difference maker. I know my brothers over there, the brothers Dash over there, the Chief Concerns, are not with me on Devin Neal. They're not with Trevor and I over here on Devin Neal. But I am 100% in belief this kid's going to be a stud in this league.
Absolutely.
If they get Dylan Sampson, I'm okay with that. They get Damian Martinez, I'm okay with that. There are a group of running backs that I would love to have on this team. But I'd be lying if I said, guys, that Devin Neal is at the top of my list, especially now where I know the running back depth now is. This is now a place where you take a Devin Neal in the 4th round. This is a place where you take him. And I want to see that happen. If it was my way, I would see the Chiefs go running back here and start to backfill more defensive positions as well. If there's a wide receiver they find the value at, take him as well. I'm okay with that. 6th, 7th round. If the Chiefs feel that they can go and get a guy like that later on, cool. But I'd like to see them maybe double dip an edge, maybe get a linebacker, maybe get another corner, but for sure running back has to be their next position of need. So I don't want to waste any more of the people's time, Trevor. I want to get to them. I don't know if there's been any questions or not, but let's get to people and speak it, man, because I think there's going to be some legitimate conversations to be had about moving forward in this draft.
So we've got a couple. I know a lot of people are watching the draft right now, so maybe not as many people are as engaged as they normally are on the show right now, but we've got a couple right now. So if you guys want to chime in while I'm reading these other questions, definitely feel free to jump in and give me some more ammo over here. But we got our guy Tony Russell. He says, "What's up, fellas? Hey, we good. I'm very impressed with our draft. Quick question though, what's your guys' opinion on Sh$dur Sanders? Did the kid shoot himself in the foot or what? Shake my head."
Okay, so I'm glad this is being brought up.
I'm gonna touch on this in a second, by the way. So.
How you say?
I said I'm gonna touch on this in a second, by the way.
Yeah. So I'll just give my piece on this whole situation. I'm rather confused by the whole entire cult against Sh$dur Sanders, this anti-Sh$dur Sanders movement that seems to be going on. Everything I saw from him in college told me that this guy's an NFL quarterback. The problem when I told Trevor this, and I know Trevor and I have had some differences of opinion on this one, but I've always said that the Sanders name actually hurts him more than it helps him. Yes, people think, well, you're Deion's son. Everybody, you're gonna be a nepo kid, and you're gonna get opportunities you wouldn't get otherwise. I actually see the opposite for him, because of the fact that his father is probably the single most cocky player in NFL history, and has talked up a lot of game in his time, more than just for himself, but now for his kids. And I think that when that happens, there's a natural desire of people to see those kind of people fail. And, all I hear from people that talk about Sh$dur is that he needs to be humbled. And I want to see this kid fail. And I've never really understood that, because I kind of cheer for the cocky guy every once in a while, because I think it's kind of cool when a guy that talks that game backs it up. Like one of my favorite athletes ever, Muhammad Ali, talked more than any two people on this planet, and then would go out there and knock a dude out. That to me is cool, because you're entertaining and you back it up. That makes you, to me, those are the most interesting athletes in the world. And I think it would also be cool to see a guy like Sh$dur succeed at the NFL level, because we know there's a prototype in the NFL at quarterback. Oh, you got to just be humble, and you got to, be just the general, the good old boy. What if there's a dude that's cocky and comes in the league and starts scorching the earth? That'd be kind of cool, in my opinion. I just see things a little differently sometimes, and like I said, I know he's not the world's best athlete, because he's not. I compare him to Jared Goff and Geno Smith, but if we know anything about those two quarterbacks, they both are having incredible careers. Geno started a little bit differently, a little bit on the rocks, but Geno had to learn, and that's maybe something Sh$dur is going to have to do. But once Geno got it, and he went to Seattle, what did he do? Oh, I don't know. He's only led the league in passing yards, and he's had, multiple 30-touchdown seasons, and he just got himself another big-ass contract at 34 years old. Jared Goff's only been to the Super Bowl multiple times, and, leads one of the best franchises in the NFL right now, puts up not historic numbers, but puts up awesome numbers every year. He's a pocket quarterback, sure. We know the league has kind of gone more towards the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson way, but there's the Joe Burrows. There's the Jared Goffs. There are guys like that still exist in this league. I mean, shit, Joe Flacco's like 59 years old, got another job. He's a fucking statue back there. Tom Brady played till he's 45. Like, those guys are always going to be around. And I think that Sh$dur Sanders has unfortunately gotten the bad side of the deal. Has he done himself any favors by being cocky and things like that? Probably not. But the kid's 21 years old. Trevor and I we always retrospect here. We always like, remember when we were 21, Trev? Remember when we were this age? I was probably a fucking doofus. I was probably saying some stupid shit, doing stupid shit, and I had to learn. He's going to have to learn. And I think this has probably been a learning situation for him. I think it's fucked up what happened with that whole situation where that person called him and prank called him. I thought that was fucked up.
That's not the only one. That happens to a lot of people.
I know, but I'm saying it's fucked up no
become a
matter
thing
what.
now.
Yeah, I think that's
super
fucked up.
up.
Because we're talking about kids' dreams here,
Yeah,
man. I hate that shit.
Yeah,
So
super fucked up.
But yeah, that's to long-winded as best as I can. I'm a fan of 𝚂𝙿𝙸. I'm a believer of 𝚂𝙿𝙸. And I think he just gets a bad rap because of the fact that everyone's holding everything over his head for being a young guy with all the pressure of being Deion Sanders' son, and Deion Sanders being a guy that people I just think always wanted to root against because of how cocky he was and how awesome he was. I think that people are trying to get a pound of flesh now by, posting all these videos of 𝚂𝙿𝙸 Sanders, being cocky and arrogant. But what's funny is I didn't see that same energy towards Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel, who both went into the first round. Just kind of found that funny. So that's where I stand on it. So I don't know if Trevor wants to expand on it yet. He probably cook later, but that's where I stand on it.
No, yeah, I'm good. We'll touch on that here in a minute.
Yeah.
Our guy Micah Hayes, do you think team roster would benefit if the NFL had a luxury tax like the NBA? Hell no.
No, because the luxury tax doesn't really do anything beneficial for the team. Like, I think that, you can say, like, oh, it helps you when it comes to, like, overspending at times, but you're going to have to pay that anyway.
Yeah.
So these owners are not going to want to fuck with that. There's a reason why that's never happened in the NFL. And the reason they get away with it in the NBA is because they have such little rosters. At most, you're paying 15 guys, and most the bottom 3 guys are usually, like, two-way contracts. So you're not really paying 15 guys. You're really paying, like, 12. That would not work on a 53-man roster. They'd have to revamp that entire system. So, no. I don't envision that ever happening. I think as crazy as it sounds, and this won't happen either, but I think there's a better chance they go with no salary caps in the NFL than they would go with the luxury tax. It doesn't, in the long run, would not help NFL teams.
I just wanted to throw this out there too. More running backs are flying off the shelves, man. But Devin Neal is still there. Let's see. Trevor Etienne went to the Panthers at the 12th pick of the 4th. Then a linebacker went. Cody Simon went to Ohio State, or went to the Cardinals.
Nice.
Then running back Woody Marks went to the Texans, and then running back Marquez Hunter.
Oh wow.
Went to the Rams. Rams.
Wow.
I didn't expect the Rams to go running back there. I feel like they always kind of take running backs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So running backs are continuing. This has been the round of the running back for sure. So I think the Chiefs. We're coming up in several picks, about 10, 15 picks here.
Dylan Sampson still available?
I think so. I haven't seen him go yet. But yeah, man. That's This has been the round of running backs. It's been linebackers, running backs, one defensive tackle in there, safety in there. If it's been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs in this round so far.
Damn.
So they're flying, bro. Safety just went. Billy Bowman Jr. To the Falcons. Bengals are on the clock. So this is the I love this day of the draft, man. We do have one more question for my guy Micah Hayes, though.
Yo.
Would you take a risk on wide receiver Isaiah Bond? He and his lawyer are saying the female is trying to extort him for money in the sexual assault charge. I don't know much about this situation.
I do. Look, these are very chummy waters, so I'm going to be very careful on how I say this.
Yeah.
The talent of Isaiah Bond is something I would not pass up on.
Yeah.
This is one of those things,
But
though.
why is he valuable?
Yes.
Why is there value there?
Well, yeah, you got to be very careful with this because I don't want to say, oh, I think this, right? I have no idea what happened or didn't happen in that situation. So all I'll say is this. If he is exonerated or there's, some technicality or whatever the case is where he's basically, if he ever becomes available truly, where he's not going to be in future trouble, then God, yes, I would absolutely take this kid as a talent. So, but I think there's a reason
Yeah.
he's not drafted yet because I think there's probably some shit that's going down. That
Well, bro, and on
teams are
top of
not
that, we're already
comfortable
dealing with our own shit here.
with. Exactly.
At the Xavier Worthy shit. So
But
do we want to invite more of that controversy? I don't think we
Oh
want to.
shit! Did Dylan Sampson? Oh no. Okay.
No. Billy Bowman Jr. was the last pick right now. So
So,
the Bengals are on the clock at the moment.
According to ESPN, the best remaining running backs on the board still are Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal, and DJ Giddens.
Samson, dude, I'll take
Jordan
him too,
James
bro.
out of Oregon.
Jordan
and
James.
My guy Damian Martinez out of Miami. I know the Chiefs did talk to him. So that
This is definitely the round to go grab a running back because they're
Ollie Gordon's still
flying.
available. Tosh Brooks is still available. LaQuint Allen, Jaden Blue, Brashad Smith, and then I know SMU. That's a school that the Chiefs like because obviously Clark Hunt.
I feel like you know what's crazy though is I
Rice.
feel like all those guys are gonna go before Devin Neal. Just because Devin Neal's a KU guy, he's not a big school, like not really a big football school.
I don't understand.
Watch the fucking tape,
Devin Neal
dude.
was the 8th ranked running back coming in this draft.
He's an absolute dog, bro. Like if we get him, I'll be
I don't understand.
dropping trowel real quick, bro.
Like I don't see a weakness in the game. People say, well, he's not fast. Man, Kareem Hunt isn't fast.
Right.
Like some running back, Emmitt Smith wasn't fast. Like some of these running backs are not fast.
I get that take because a lot of us want that explosibility, that explosive guy. He is explosive, just not like he doesn't have like strght line speed.
Yes.
But dude, you want a guy that's going to go get you touchdowns and not to worry about it from the 5, from the 10 on. The dude is don't want to get one of the best touchdown scorers in college the last couple seasons, bro. Like so, it's just I love the doubt.
I'll be good with Dylan
doubt.
Sampson. I'll be good with DJ Giddens out of K-State.
Yeah.
I'd be good with Jordan James out of Oregon or Damian Martinez out of Miami. But Devin Neal, like I've seen this man play since his freshman year, and he's special, man. I'll live off that. I'll forever live off of it.
All right, guy Stan Simmons in the chat.
Yo, Stan.
I like the new defensive end from Louisville. I think he's going to surprise some people. What are your expectations for him?
Oh, I've already preached on this.
Yeah,
I mean, Галат is a dude that I think is going to be the best pick of this draft for the Chiefs because I think he's going to make immediate impact. I think he's a guy that can be 10-plus sack kind of guy in this league. Pairing up with George Karlaftis for the future is something I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
They have similar skill sets, but he's even quicker. He's much quicker than George, and he's a mauler, man. He's 6'3", 264 pounds. Played real competition in college. Was able to do a lot of things, man, that you want to see from a guy day one. And he's still young. He's only 21 years old. Yeah. So I really like. I don't know. I love
his profile is perfect for what we want to do with this defensive line, and him opposite George Karlaftis is so has potential to be an absolutely deadly duo in this league.
Yes.
So my comp from what I've seen so far was Max Crosby. So if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what.
Did you say my comp?
Yeah. No, I did not. But I mean, hey, you know what? Some that could be a nickname real quick. Seeing how he's I'm not even gonna go there. Oh my God, Gulia. Is it possible to tell what we got at O-line before the pads come on?
No, I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to sound like a pessimist here, but we're not gonna really know what Josh Simmons is until he's a full-fledged starter. And again, unless someone's gonna prove me wrong here and show me another tackle position on the offensive line that I'm not aware of, because I only know about the left and right. Where is he playing this year? Like, yeah, okay. I had a friend the other day ask me, well, what if he beats one of these guys out? Yeah, that I guess that's possible. And then the Chiefs are going to sit there and have a $20 million backup? Like, do we see that happening? I don't. I just don't. So, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think Josh Simmons is coming out the gate hot. He's coming out that patellar tendon injury still, man.
I think he's one of the. I think he's a future long game pick, and that's tough. Like I said, for me, some people might be okay with it. If he becomes a stud, then I'll be okay with it. Obviously, if he becomes a stud for the next decade, and he's the left tackle of the next decade, then he's awesome. I can live with that. But right now, in the moment, it does suck knowing that he's most likely a guy we can look forward to maybe in 2026 season and seeing what he can do then when he's actually ready to be that guy. But
I'll give credit to Clay Windler, our producer. But Ashton Галат looks kind of like Patrick Mahomes.
Is he? Oh, that is kind of weird.
You guys see that?
There is a resemblance. That focuses.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Can you see if like
No.
Okay, that's horrible. Go look up Ashton Галат, guys, and his pictures.
Julia Gulia is saying it's pronounced gelati.
Oh, is it? I heard two different guys.
Gelati. Dude, I don't know. Gelati, it sounds delicious. I don't know.
Gelato sounds delicious. He's got great hair, man.
Yeah. What's that like?
Good Lord.
But
Cardinal. That's what I'm gonna call him.
That is a cool nickname.
Yep.
Our guy Micah Hayes. I live in Colorado. What do you think of Colorado State wide receiver Torrey Horton? He is still available. Dude is a baller. That's true.
Yeah, Torrey. Look, I think
there's actually a lot of good wide receiver talent still available, man.
Well, I think I hate to say this, but when I was looking at Torrey and I was looking at a couple other guys like Jalen Royals, in the mid rounds, 3rd to 6th. From what I saw, they're expecting him to be kind of like a special teamer, kind of like one of those guys that makes a 53, but probably never is a wide receiver 2 or 3. We'll make a roster, but it will probably end up having to be special teams. I like his hands. He's got a good route. He's got good routes, but I don't see special by any means, and that's what I think when you're looking at wide receivers earlier in the draft, that's what you're looking for is something special.
Yeah.
Whether it's size, speed.
Well, I mean, this wouldn't be early at this point, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they take him now, I'm good with him. Your expectations have to be he's probably going to make special teams. You know, he'll probably be a guy that's running after guys and tackling guys. Or
Kind of like a Chris Conley kind of guy, maybe?
Yes, something like that, yes. Like, you know, like somebody that's just going to play a role, be a role player.
There's value for sure there,
exactly.
especially where you get him.
Yes, so I think the kid is very talented. Don't get me wrong, and I could be wrong, but I see him more of a guy that's going to make a 53 based on kickoffs and punt returns, stuff like that.
Yeah. Stan Simmons. Here we go. Lakers in trouble? Man, LeBron was on one last night, but Luka was sick. They better win Sunday night. The Lakers are winning this series.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm not worried about that.
Luka was definitely ill, and it was glaringly obvious. LeBron was unbelievable last night, and it just wasn't enough. And listen, man, credit to Ant, credit to the rest of that roster that really stepped up. It's a good team. I mean, they're not very deep, but the starters for that team are really, I mean, Ant was just on his shit. LeBron was playing great. It just, it looked like a bigger beating than it was. The Lakers actually led more in that game than the Wolves did.
Yep.
But the game was a lot closer. It was neck and neck for the majority of the game, but the ending result, the box score definitely looks like the Lakers got their asses kicked, but they didn't. They barely lost that game if we're all being honest. It came down to the last few minutes where it kind of slipped away from them and it got out of control, but LeBron was incredible, and I expect LeBron to be good moving forward in the rest of this series, and the Lakers will win this series. Luka will be back and be healthy, be fine. They'll win this next game. Both teams will win one on the road, and the Lakers will finish it in L.A. So I'm not even worried about this one, Stan. But yeah, man, it is worrisome to be down in the series in the first series of the playoffs. But at the same time, there's been some adversity that have come their way. Luka was definitely not right at all last night. But LeBron playing the way he did if that doesn't motivate you, if that isn't something to look forward to for the rest of the playoffs, I don't know what is. But
right.
But yeah, that's my answer, Stan. I don't know if you got anything else on.
No, I echo your sentiments, man. I think that the Lakers are the better team. I just think that they've had a series of misfortune.
When they're playing a young superstar, man, Anthony Edwards is fucking incredible.
I mean, you and I were sitting there just
fucking incredible,
just glowing about
that guy. He's gonna have maybe not one, or he might have a couple rings by the end of his career.
Yeah,
I think he's incredible,
and it's hard to not to love the kid.
Dude.
Like, he's an ultimate competitor.
He's old school too. He has like the old school mentality. He just wants to go talk shit, play, have fun. He ain't really trying to start shit, but
I wasn't even worried about the Lakers last night. I was more just like focused on how great Anthony Edwards was and just how excited I am to know that's like a guy that's going to be bringing in the next generation.
Yeah, man.
Because I wasn't gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was worried like when LeBron has been starting to get
what
older,
personality is going to rise?
Yeah,
to the top?
who's gonna be like those dudes?
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, like, is it gonna be a bunch of just European players?
Nah, Shy, Luka, and
be right. Like,
yeah,
I got last night. I was like kind of like cheering, and as much as it sucked to see the Lakers lose, I'm like, I love the fact this dude's only 23 years old.
He's just so exciting to watch.
Yeah,
he's so exciting to watch, man.
Perfect American player. Like, that's what I want to see. Dude.
Yeah, leading the league in 3-pointers made and techs. I mean, how do you you know what I mean? Like, how do you not love that guy, bro? That's some Rasheed Wallace shit.
Right.
How do you not love those kind of guys? But obviously, he's much better than Rasheed Wallace. But yeah, we have one more question. Let me see. We might have more in here. But from Sam on X, who did you want in place of Josh Simmons at 32?
See, this is the question I was asked, and it's a fair one because I know that people are going to ask for names. You guys already knew the names that I wanted. They were guys that went earlier. So it was no longer just like a particular name. It was more of just the position of need. And I know that BPA is the place that everybody goes to, but again, was Josh Simmons the best player available?
He was the best value, probably. He was probably the best value.
But again, when we ask the question, is he going to play in 2025? Does that therefore change that discussion?
Yeah, because if he doesn't, that's my question to everybody else. If he doesn't play this year, do y'all still love the pick as much as you? Is that poll still really that heavy up top? Yeah, I don't think so. This is
why I said I am okay with this pick if he is a star later on. If he ends up becoming, Trevor, a top 10 left tackle in this league,
right?
Oh, what a great pick!
But the shitty part is, those are the guys usually drafted to be day one contributors. And like you said, the hype at the camp. Oh, he's dominating. He's a day one guy. We're not gonna be able to experience that with him.
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But like you said, there is a I mean, even a caveat.
Even our friend Jay Binkley was saying the same thing. He wouldn't have gone with this pick because he said
it's a lot of risk up top.
He wasn't even emphasizing the side I was more about the guys in front of him. He's talking about the actual injury, about how difficult this injury is to overcome, especially for a man of this size. I mean, guys, you got to think, when you are that big, You are a 300+ pound man.
Patella tendon.
And if you watch left tackles and how they have to move real fast with those legs, that is a lot of stress on a leg that's already suffered such a serious leg injury. I'm just saying, guys, like, we have to be prepared to not see this guy play this year for one or two reasons. And if and when he is able to play later on, is he that same guy that everybody talked about was the best tackle in this draft, or will he just be some average dude? Because then if he's some average guy, to me, that's a wasted pick. So that's what I'm more focused on, is more of not so much, well, they should have taken that guy instead.
Yeah.
It's more of, well,
Position of need.
is he the right pick based upon, area of position of need, and is he going to be that dude that everybody just expects him to be? That's the question I have.
Micah Hayes with the last question of the show. Do you think Josh Kroenke blows up the Nuggets roster if they lose this series?
Yeah.
They lost by 34 Thursday, down 2-1.
Yes,
They're probably
I
going
think
to lose this series, which is crazy, man.
Me too. I picked the Nuggets in the series, but I think there's a very good chance that this team's getting blown up. More than a better chance, because
Jokic might go to the Lakers.
once you see the head coach get fired, especially a coach who's been successful like Mikey Malone, that usually is the insinuation that things are about to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jokic is fed up with that franchise. He's done everything he can. They obviously have already won a ring and everything, so he's already accomplished everything he set out to do in Denver. So he doesn't owe that city nothing at this point. He doesn't owe them a thing.
Yeah.
I think that they got some good role players like Christian Brown, and there's a number of Jamal Murray's a good player, obviously, but is he a guy you want to build your franchise around? I think that if I was the Nuggets, I'm resetting everything. And I know that sucks, and I know it's something that people don't want to hear, but if I was them, I would trade Jokic for everything I could get. I think, and the Lakers are one of the teams, but I think that you can get multiple firsts, multiple starters out of Jokic, even at 30 years old. I think that you can get a haul in return and reset your franchise. Go and get your next player like that, and you can keep Christian Brown, you can keep some of those guys like that, but I think overall there's a new vision coming in. I don't know if this interim coach is going to be their head coach or not.
Yeah.
Edelman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Edelman. I don't know if he's going to be their head coach moving forward or not. But regardless, there's going to be a new vision moving into 2026 anyway.
It's bad vibes in Denver, bro.
It is bad vibes. And I
Which
think
is crazy how fast
if
that
Jokic
changed.
was younger, obviously you just rebuild with him. He's in his 30s now. And he, let's be real, he's not a freak athlete. So how much longer he plays, let alone plays in his prime,
I think that kind of works
debatable.
I think that kind of works in his favor, though. He has never been dependent on his athleticism.
True, but
so
I'm
his
saying,
athleticism can dip, and it's like he's
Right,
still
but
crafty as fuck.
What I'm saying though is the reason why LeBron's been able to play so long is because his athleticism plus his IQ work together. And so as his physical ability went down, his IQ stayed up or went up. When you're already down here physically and then it starts to drop, your IQ may not really matter because your body can't move like it used to. That's why guys like Paul Pierce, they dropped off a cliff because they were never great athletes. And once they turn like 33, 34 years old, they're like, oh shit, that guy's gone.
I think it's different for bigs a little bit though. But I mean,
If they play like a big,
but I mean, for him, it's more about basketball's not even his first love.
That's also
what I mean. So he has things off the court that he loves more than even basketball. So, yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see. I think Jokic is probably on the move though. This coming up.
I don't think Jokic is one of those guys that's playing at 36 years old.
Oof.
Because like you just said, you made my point. He has something he might. If he's playing in the league for 15 years, he's like, why
he's
am
already
I still
accomplished
playing?
everything you need to accomplish.
He's going to make $500 million.
MVP,
It's like
champion. Yeah.
he's made all this money. I'm telling you right now, the moment he's gone, we're never hearing from him again. He's going to be up in the mountains with his horses, living life, and I don't blame him. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, dude. I think that's the point. I think 34 years old is right where Jokic is probably going to call it a career. So if he wants to win a couple more titles, he's probably going to want to team up with his boy Doncic because them together would be unbelievably deadly.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be.
Oh, and LeBron's still there, by the way.
Yeah. Almost had 40 points last year. Fucking 40 years old. Insane, bro.
He's the only reason that game was even remotely.
Almost shot 70%.
It's stupid
from
man.
the field.
What
Like
he's
what
doing
the
is stupid.
fuck, bro?
It's
How do you
stupid.
almost have 40 and shoot 70% at
He almost
40
scored
years old?
his age.
Wild, bro. Didn't close it though. That was unfortunate.
That
That game, they should have won that game. They were better for the majority.
If Doncic wasn't sick, they win.
For sure. He wasn't. He just wasn't. Yeah, I don't even want to touch on it anymore. That was tough to watch. All right, man. That's all for the questions, bro.
That's okay. I mean, look,
Appreciate
guys,
you guys.
it's a busy Saturday. The draft's still going. We totally understand. We didn't know what kind of reaction we were going to get today or if we were going to get any, so we appreciate everybody that
Chiefs are
contributed
9 picks
regardless.
away.
9 picks away. So let's go ahead and let's wrap up the show, Trevor, so we can, we'll give our reactions off air when it comes to the Chiefs draft picks and everything like that. We thought that maybe we'd be able to hold tight until they got here, but it's okay, man. I totally understand. We got things going on. So, Trevor, without further ado, we got one order of business to get to. What is it called?
Hold this L.
Each every episode, we finish up every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever holding those L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Tweedle, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, man. We talked about it earlier in the shows, questioned us about how we felt about 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders. I'm going to go on record and tell you guys that I like 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders. I do. I like the whole family. I love stuff like this. I think this is great for sports. I think families, this is something that's made sports incredible. We've seen so many great sports families across, all platforms, all sports, and it's something I think that should be cherished. But at the same time, I do think he's kind of shot himself in the foot, and I think it's kind of obvious. I don't think he's being blackballed by the league. I think he kind of put a bad portrayal of what he brings if a team takes a risk on him. Not even taking a risk, or a team brings him in, because I don't think he's a risk. I think he's in my personal opinion, he's not special. He's a pretty vanilla quarterback. He's very accurate. That's about maybe what the most special thing about him is. He's not the most athletic guy. He's not a great runner of the ball. He's a very vanilla quarterback. And the comp he's been getting a lot is Drew Brees, and that's cool. He's barely about 6 foot with cleats on. Not a big guy, not a demanding guy, not a guy that can go out there and wow you by any means, in my personal opinion. But he talks like he does. That's the problem for me. He talks like he does. He talks like he's special, and he's just not, man. He's not NFL special by any means. Do I think he could come in and be a good quarterback? I know you, Lance, you said he could become like a Geno Smith. Yeah. I think that's probably the peak of what he could be.
Yeah.
And not win anything and be capable of really winning big games, in my opinion, in the NFL. And that's what Geno Smith has been. Good stats, cool. But I just don't think he's going to be anything special. And I think that's what's been kind of going around the league in this draft. And granted, to go on record again, I don't think there's any special quarterbacks in this draft. I don't.
Right.
There's not every draft a special quarterback comes out. That does not happen. We can't. And not everybody can be great. You know what I mean? So I just and listen, man. I think where he shot himself in the foot was with this quote before, leading into the draft process of the combine, when he said, "If you ain't trying to change a franchise or the culture, don't get me." And I know that can be looked at as a negative or a positive, but he's giving reasons to why you shouldn't get me, not to why you should get him. That's just not a best thing to say for PR reasons, man, if I'm being honest, for your personal brand. I understand. I respect the confidence, but then again, it all comes back to, do we even think he's that dude? I don't think he's that dude. So don't say, I'm going to come in and change your culture, and if you don't want me to change your culture, don't get me. That's going to rub a lot of owners and head coaches and people the wrong way, man. And I think that's what it's happened. And it's unfortunate, because I do like the kid. I fucking love Deion Sanders. I love Coach Prime, dude. I love what he's done for football. I love what he's done for college football. I love the opportunities. I mean, it's over, and it's unfortunate because it's overshadowed the fact that Travis Hunter got traded up to go get taken by a Jags team that needs a superstar, and they went and fucking got one, and he is a superstar. And no one's even really talking about it. It's all about 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders, and that's kind of my point. It's all about 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders right now. All these guys' lives are being made, and we're still talking about why 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders hasn't gone. And you want that in your locker room? I don't know if a lot of teams do. And that's kind of my point. I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he can come in here and prove everybody wrong, have an Aaron Rodgers situation, Tom Brady situation. Granted, he's not those guys. But if he can come back and we can look back on him and look back on history, and he shut all the haters up and all the doubters, I fucking love it. But right now, I feel like he has kind of shot himself in the foot. I think his dad's done everything he can to be positive. I think Deion's been 100% a positive, in my personal opinion. It's his fucking kids, of course. The LeVar Ball situation, all these things, I support that. I love when fathers are very much involved. Sometimes over the top, but who am I to tell someone how to parent? So, for me, I think this is L-worthy, because he kind of has shot himself in the foot, because I think he's kind of made himself seem like he's something he's not, in my personal opinion, talent-wise. So for that, end of the day, I hope he gets drafted. I hope someone takes a chance on him, because I think he's worthy of that chance. I think he's slipped way too far, and I think it is kind of getting ridiculous at this point, in my personal opinion. But it is fair at the same time, though, because he's kind of put himself in this situation. So for that, 𝚭𝙿𝙸 Sanders, do me a solid favor and hold this L.
Speaking of another quarterback in this draft, it's not even aimed towards him. It's aimed towards a team that I think is wildly putting themselves in a position to get unemployed real fast when it comes to the staff that made these decisions. So we know the Giants made, ironically, because here I am handing them an L, but the Giants made maybe the best pick of the draft by getting Abdul Carter, who I think is going to be an absolute Hall of Fame great. I mean, I think he's going to be like Dwight Freeney. I'm dead serious. I think
dude, they got him and Tibbs, dude. Him and Thibodeau.
And not Brian Burns. I don't know. I forgot about Brian Burns. My point is, Abdul Carter, I think, is going to be maybe the best player of this draft. And I'll go on the record and say I think he will be. And they just absolutely killed the draft by getting him alone. But then the Giants go and trade up back into the first round for Jackson Dart.
Yep.
And look, watching the film on this kid, I'm not impressed. I think he, like my guy Jeff Allen said, former Chiefs lineman, I think he's Daniel Jones all over again. I see such basic,
even less athletic.
meh football.
Yeah.
He never checks his second read.
I don't.
He's mobile. Yeah, he's an athlete.
Outside of Cam Ward, I haven't seen much special quarterbacks in this draft. Man,
and Jackson Dart definitely is not special.
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward has a chance.
For sure.
Unfortunately, he's going to the Titans.
Yeah.
But no, I don't see special at all. But here, man, I'm a big John Gruden fan. And I think the Gruden camps can be revealing. And holy shit, was this one revealing. This is Jackson Dart on the Gruden Camp show via Barstool Sports.
Stand up. Let me see your snap count. Let me be honest with me, because I see at USC, I see this guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah. No, I want to hear the snap count.
Yeah.
Really? Every time?
Every time.
Do you have like a dummy clap or anything?
Yeah, we call it purple.
What's that? No shit.
Yeah.
For 3 years, you've been clapping. I think I could do that.
Let me hear it.
I could tell that John Gruden wanted to get up and choke this kid. Clapping is and the Giants traded up for this kid in the first round. So he's not special, talent-wise. And his snap counts are claps. Do you guys understand that over 50% of being a quarterback in the NFL is knowing how to operate on an audible and know how to get your guys all in unison at the line of scrimmage?
Having a proper cadence.
I mean, I get it. Look, Brian Dable is so good with quarterbacks. I think I've gone on record in saying that I think he saved Josh Allen's career. So maybe he does the same thing with Jackson Dart. Did that look like a guy you trade up in the first round to get? That looked like a guy that was going to be a third, fourth round flyer pick. And again, watching his film, I don't see it. I don't see a franchise quarterback. This is just so baffling. This, again, it's not even towards Jackson Dart. This is towards the Giants for moving picks to go and get this guy that was going to fall to them. No one was taking him at the back end of the first round. Look at the teams who are at the back end of the first round. You had the Commanders. You had the Bills. You had the Ravens. You had the Chiefs. You had the Eagles. They all have their quarterbacks. So the hell are you doing?
Yep.
What the hell are you doing? It was so stupid. And I saw this video. I never saw it before until the night of the draft. And I lost my shit laughing. Because this just sounds... And he's not going to play this year. Because they already have Russell Wilson, who will be their starter. Yep. They have Jameis Winston. They got their guys. But even a year of development with this guy, I just don't see it. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think I'm going to be. So for that, Giants, hey, what's up? Do me a solid and hold that hell. Oh, Christ on a hilltop. Yeah. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Yeah.
But you know what? Show's been fun. Chiefs are about to pick. Fourth round. We'll see if they get a running back. If you guys
Dylan Sampson did go to the Browns.
Okay, well, damn. Hold on. They took Judkins and Dylan Sampson. God damn. Yeah. The Browns are on a roll, dude. We'll start calling them butter. Holy shit. Well, the Chiefs are going to be picking soon. So if you guys want to follow Trevor and I's opinions on this whole thing, we're on X. We're on Facebook. Follow us there. You guys know I'm overly opinionated, so I'm definitely going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on this thing. So follow me at Lance the Spoken. Get on our Facebook page of The Spoken. We just don't want to sit here and prolong the day for you guys, so that way you guys can enjoy your Saturday, do what you guys need to do. We had to put a show out there today, give you guys our immediate reactions to where the Chiefs have drafted so far to this point. But we will give you guys our further evaluations and thoughts on this thing moving forward. We're expecting to have Mike Williams from All Chiefed Up on our show next week. So really excited about that. He'll give us his full analyst and that. And if you guys are wanting to watch a show still after this one's over, go over to All Chiefed Up, man. They're going to be still on. So definitely go follow our brothers, the Williams brothers over there. Those dudes are smart as hell. They know what they're talking about. And they'll give you guys their thoughts and opinions as well. So shout out to them. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for being here. Go to YouTube, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, notify, share, all those fun buttons. But get with us every single week on the comments. We very much appreciate when you guys are a part of the show. So for that, for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts all this together in the back end of things at Red Tribe Cinema, and for the entire Starcade Media family, I am Lance Twidwell. Episode 311 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here in 1 week's time for episode 312 to give you guys further analysis and thoughts and opinions on the Chiefs draft and then moving forward into the 2026 season, we out of this bitch.
Later.